Hello mamas, Laura here, and today we are chatting about mindfulness during pregnancy and ways in which we can connect more with our babies. Enjoy!
Hey mama, I'm sending you wonderful pregnancy vibes. It's time for you to guide you through. Let's take some time for you. It's Pregnancy with Physio Laura.
Hello mamas, and welcome back to the Pregnancy with Physio Laura podcast. Today we're kicking off the 5th episode, the final one in this Yoga and Doula series, diving into ways in which we can connect deeper with our babies and practice more mindfulness during pregnancy on a day-to-day basis. So this is episode 5 of a 5-part Yoga and Doula series with the beautiful doula and yoga and meditation teacher, Louise Maguire. Louise chats today about the journey that our babies take during pregnancy and especially birth, and how we can connect with them throughout this transition. And as I mentioned in this chat today, I felt completely dumbfounded that I had never really considered my baby's experience through all of this. So I had always thought about pregnancy and birth from the maternal aspect, but never really from my baby's point of view. It's like I just imagined that they were this really piece of tissue and they didn't become a proper person until they were born, which is crazy. I now feel so much more in tune with my baby this third time round, and I'm really loving the connection we have, and I feel like a real team this time, as opposed to only thinking about it from my maternal perspective. So I found that really interesting. And if you haven't already listened to the first 4 episodes in this series, make sure you go back and have a listen at some stage, because we do discuss some important things about the role of doulas in pregnancy, birth, and the postpartum period. We also chat about how fear can manifest itself in pregnancy and birth, and we go on to chat about how yoga and meditation can help to reduce this fear, pain, and tension, and help us connect more in with ourselves and our babies. So definitely go check those out. And whilst this is the final episode in this series, we do have so many incredible podcast series in the lineup. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Pregnancy with Physio Laura podcast. We also have the bonus meditation from this podcast series, which is exclusively available to members only, where Louise talks us through a beautiful pregnancy meditation that you can use at any stage throughout your journey. So this entire podcast series and all our other podcast series, along with that exclusive member-only content, is right now live inside the Pregnancy Posse. So if you want to go and access all that amazing content, rather than waiting for future episodes to come out, then please do go check out the Pregnancy Posse. I have taken my years of experience helping women in the pre- and postnatal years as a women's health physiotherapist, and I've turned it into an easy-to-use online program. So when you join the Pregnancy Posse, I will guide you week by week throughout your pregnancy with safe, weekly exercise workouts tailored to your exact week of pregnancy. I also do a weekly Q&A session where I answer every single question from my beautiful Posse members so that you don't have to go Googling. And there's also a wonderful community forum and an extensive resources library which helps to educate you on all topics related to pregnancy, birth, and beyond. I would love to help you have a healthy, active, pain-free pregnancy. So just head over to thepregnancyposse.com to see what the Pregnancy Posse is all about and to trial it for 7 days. Now, let's get into episode 5 of our 5-part Yoga and Doula series. I really hope you feel more connected to yourself and your baby after today's chat. Enjoy! And I want to talk a little bit now. You've already given some amazing tips about how to start being mindful, but specifically for those women who are pregnant right now listening to this podcast, what are some practical tips, or what can we do to really help slow down and be more present with our baby in utero? So I know that there'd be some wonderful meditations and things out there, but are there other rituals or things that you suggest to your clients to really help stop and connect with their baby?
Yeah, I think there's a few different ways you could kind of go about it. I guess it kind of depends as well. Like if you're quite a visual person, it might be really nice to actually just really visualize your baby growing in there and think about what kind of stage of the pregnancy they're at and really, really see them growing in there. And that might be what really calls to you. Other people are a bit more kind of sensory inclined, and in that case, you might just want to really like hone in and feel their energy. we kind of know that the more you also like touch your belly, the more the baby actually like feels that connection as well. Also, you probably will naturally begin kind of talking to them, whether it's in your head or whether it's out loud. So just kind of doing a little bit more of that. And I do feel that like comes naturally to a lot of people, but I also really, really like to guide people to pause after that talking and see if anything kind of comes up from the baby. I really think the babies are saying and feeding back a lot to us, but we just don't really give them that chance to nearly do so. Even before they're born, I'm exploring this whole preconception area, because that's kind of where I'm at the moment, and connecting to your baby spirit before you even conceive. So if you can believe that, you can definitely understand that, when you're pregnant, they, of course, are connecting with you. And it might be through words, it might be through pictures or visions, or again, just maybe a feeling. Maybe you get this reassuring feeling, because as much as we want our babies to feel loved and at peace, they're trying to send that back to us as well. So, yeah, I think really nurturing that can go also a long way in your birthing experience and in your postpartum, if you've already really established that connection and that two-way relationship.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's fantastic. I really like that. And what about for the mamas? So the women who are listening to this, who might have small kids or toddlers, have you got any little examples or tools or tips that they could use during their day to maybe implement a really nice presence and connection with their children earthside?
Absolutely. I think what's really important to remember is to just, even just a few moments goes a massive way. It's impossible to be present all the time, so don't put that on your shoulders. But yeah, just even 5 or 10 minutes of just being really, really present, like putting the phone away, any distractions, and I often do like baby gazing meditations in my yoga classes, where we just pause at the end and just really take in the baby. Like if you think about a newborn to when they're one and just how different they look, it's amazing to just pause and look at their features, take in where they're at on their little journey, notice where you're at, and imprint that visual in your head, because they just change so quickly. And yeah, I think that's all it takes. It doesn't need to be complex. Just just do that sensory practice with your kids, with your toddlers. Get them to do it as well. It doesn't just have to be you when you're on your own and having your own time. Go out for a walk with your little one, and remind them to look around and look at the colours, and remind them to listen and feel. Yeah, I think toddlers kind of do that naturally anyway, don't they? And that's how it kind of it's amazing. They're so present in themselves. Even just letting them be your guide for a day would probably be a great way to go about it.
My husband and I always laugh because when our children are at care, we often find ourselves going, "Oh, look, there's a ship on the horizon," or "Hey, there's a full moon." And then we look at each other, we're like, "Oh, that wasn't cool, was it?"
Oh, there's no toddlers around. But no, it is cool. It's so nice to do those things. Yeah.
And I think if you open yourself up to it, like you said, they're the best teachers. So I find myself, I see ants crawling along, the outdoor concrete, which I never would have looked at before. Like I look at the flowers, I look at the moon and the stars every night, and they're things that I would never have looked at before. But my son is just he picks up on everything. Like he will spot things a mile away, off in the distance, that I would never have even thought to look at. And I think if you allow them to, they are just the ultimate teachers for mindfulness and meditation. They are just so in the moment. I think that they're powerful. They're really amazing. So I love that.
If they see us stopping and avoiding that reaction like we talked about, and taking a few deep breaths, or maybe banging out on some pillows. They'll learn those things from us as well. And you're right, it's not just parents being guides of the children. They really do have a lot to teach us as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey mamas, Laura here. How are you feeling right now? Do you feel more connected with yourself and your baby? Or had you, like me, never really considered your baby's journey through all of this? Please don't tell me I'm the only one who selfishly only looked at it from the maternal perspective, because boy, has my mind changed now. I've always loved the language around the birth dance between the mother and the baby, and I think I just now have such an appreciation for this teamwork and this relationship and this connection between mum and baby whilst in utero, so that you can have a beautiful journey together. So that's my thoughts for today. Now, if you'd like to learn more from Louise, you can find her on Instagram at Louise_Maguire_. And I would always love to hear from you over on my socials. Send me a message, comment on my post, and let me know your favorite learnings from this episode and whether you have any special ways that you like to connect with your little one. If you haven't already, just subscribe to the Pregnancy with Physio Laura podcast so you don't miss our next amazing podcast series, which is soon to be released. And don't forget that for most series of the podcast, we do record exclusive bonus content for Pregnancy Posse members. And in the bonus member-only episode for this Yoga and Doula podcast series, Louise guides us through a beautiful pregnancy meditation to help you connect with yourself and your baby. Inside the Pregnancy Posse, you will also find weekly guided pregnancy workouts, an extensive resources library on birth preparation, pelvic floor exercises, and managing pregnancy pains and injuries, plus an amazing community forum and weekly Q&As with me. As always, I would love to help you have a wonderful pregnancy, birth, and postnatal experience. So just visit thatpregnancyposse.com to see what the Pregnancy Posse is all about. I will catch you soon for our next amazing podcast series that we have in the pipeline. But until then, mamas, sending you wonderful pregnancy vibes and enjoy the incredible journey that is pregnancy.